everyone, welcome to my class Pinnacle of English. In today's class, we are going to learn a very good chapter from class 9 CBSE English, and the chapter's name is A Truly Beautiful Mind, which is a complete, or we can say a short autobiography of Albert Einstein. As we all know that he is known as a great scientist, and even he is known as a genius in this world. Before going to start the explanation in detail, let me tell you very clearly that don't forget to subscribe my channel, click on like button and share with your friends. Before going to start this lesson, we have to understand that what exactly the mind map will be. So there are certain points. By these points we can understand the entire chapter and we can remember it for a long time. Mind map points are Einstein as a little boy, Einstein's desire, his work and marriage, Nobel Prize for Physics, immigration to the US, Einstein's letter to Franklin D. Roosevelt, Einstein's sorrow, Einstein's death. So here are total 8 points which are more than enough to understand the entire chapter of class 9 CBSE English. Now let's understand the introduction of the lesson. This chapter is about Albert Einstein. He was a great scientist. The title of this chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind, refers to Albert Einstein. This is a short biography of his where some of his qualities have been highlighted. Albert's interest in mathematics and physics and also is humanitarian attribute. Let's see the summary of the entire chapter. The title, A Truly Beautiful Mind, makes one wonder that how can a scientist's mind be beautiful? This is a question for each and every, that how can a scientist's mind be beautiful? Don't we think that we can be a great scientist? We can, but we have to think like Albert Einstein. We can make our mind beautiful, but we are not using our mind in a proper way, in a proper channel, in a proper, we can say, conscious mind. There are 3 kinds of ways where our mind works. Number 1, conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind. Now we know subconscious mind refers to when we work and we are completely devoted to the work. That means we work with a conscious mind. When we are somewhere, but our mind is somewhere, but our work where we have to do, that is not done in a proper way. That shows that our mind is subconscious. And unconscious means our mind does not think anything. Our mind becomes a complete zero. For example, when we sleep, our mind does not think. That's called unconscious mind. Sigmund Freud has said that unconscious mind is really nothing to do anything. And when we sleep at night, our mind does not think, and that becomes a half death. because that time our mind does not think. We sleep as usual. We keep our body laying on the length or on the bed. It is so because in this lesson we come across another aspect of Einstein. He was a humanitarian. He advocated world peace, non-violence, and that is why the title refers to him as a truly beautiful mind. Let's see the summary of this lesson. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March in 1879 in the German city of Ulm. The title, till the age of 2.5 years, he could not speak, and when he started speaking, he spoke every word twice. So, when he was 2.5 years, he was not able to speak even a single word. And when he started speaking, he was speaking two words twice. His playmates considered him to be boring, and his mother thought that he was crazy because of the abnormally large size of his head. His playmates were considering him a boring brother. They were calling him as boring brother because whatever he was speaking twice. And his mother was there, and she was thinking that this happens because his head is abnormally large. At school, his headmaster regarded him as stupid and good for nothing. So one day, Einstein's father was called to school, and he was said by the headmaster that your son is nothing to do anything. He is good for nothing and stupid too. But he proved them all wrong. Albert Einstein proved everything wrong. At the age of 6, at the insistence of his mother, he learned to play the violin. So, as human, one has to learn a musical instrument which relaxes our mind, and our mind will be stressless when we start playing any musical instrument. So, Albert Einstein proved everybody wrong, and at the age of 6, he started learning to play the violin, and he got perfection in this, and he proved that he is not an abnormal child. He can do anything as per his wish. So we can say, where there is a will, there is a way. He became a gifted violinist. At the age of 15, his family moved to Munich. He did not feel comfortable with the strict discipline at the school and left it. He wanted to be free. He wanted a liberal school where he wanted to study. At the age of 15, his family moved to Munich, and where he joined the school, but he did not feel comfortable because he did not like regiment of the school. He did not like the discipline of the school, and that's why he left the school. On completing his schooling, he joined the university at Zurich because the atmosphere there was more liberal and accepted the new ideas and concepts. So when he completed his schooling, he joined the university as Zurich because the atmosphere there was more liberal and accepted new ideas and even new concepts, and that Albert Einstein liked it too much. He showed more interest in physics and mathematics. He met a fellow student, Mileva Marek, at the university. So, Mileva Marek was as intelligent as Albert Einstein, and both had a good match. And that's why both fell in love. They both decided to get married. She was equally intelligent and clever. Later on, they both got married. But before that, when Albert Einstein's mother came to know, she restricted. She did not allow him to get married with Mileva Marik because she was 3 years older to Albert Einstein. But later, it was final decision of Albert Einstein, and hence they both got married after 2 years. But their marriage did not survive and were divorced in 1919. They had 2 sons even. And in the same year, he got married with his cousin. After completing his education, Albert worked as a technical expert in the patent office at Bern. So when he completed his education and everything, he worked as a chemical expert, right? And in the patent office at Bern. Here he worked secretly on his idea on relativity. So he started working secretly and he was collecting all the ideas regarding theory of relativity on the same desk. In 1915, he published his paper on special theory of relativity, followed by the world famous education E is equal to mc square. So in 1915, he published his paper on special theory of relativity and they become famous in all over the world. And he gave the equation to the world. E stands for energy, m stands for mass, and c stands for speed. In 1915, he published his paper on general theory of relativity, which gave an absolutely new definition to the concept of gravity. So he published on his paper on general theory of relativity, and that gave a new definition, a new idea to the people, and from there a new revolution has been started. This theory made him a famous figure. In 1919, during the solar eclipse, his theory came out to be accurate and revolutionized physics. So it was time that there was a solar eclipse, and during that time, his theory became an accurate, perfect, and it became a revolutionized physics. There was a revolution in physics. There was something new in physics. In 1933, he emigrated to the USA as Nazis had come to power in Germany. We all know in Germany, especially, it was time that in Germany, the power was in the hand of Hitler, and the Nazi was the majority, right? And he did not want his finding and research to be used for destruction. So he made the nuclear power nuclear, and that became a destruction and became non-violence. That became a violence in the world. In 1938, when Germany discovered the principle of nuclear fission, he was the first person to write the American president about the dangers of the atomic bombs. So, America started making nuclear bombs secretly because the US wanted to take revenge from Japan, because Japan threw atom bomb on Pearl Harbor, and that's why US wanted to take revenge to Japan and secretly made a nuclear bomb and threw on the famous city of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 1945, when America dropped the atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, he was deeply hurt and wrote on the United States nations of the formation of a world government to prevent recurrence of such destruction. Albert Einstein wrote a letter to Franklin Roosevelt that whatever the nuclear power or nuclear is used, that should not be used in a negative way. That should not be used for the destruction of the nation, destruction of the world, destruction of the country. And he became very much hurt, deeply hurt, when America dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He spent his later days in politics, advocating world peace and democracy. He spent his rest of days in politics to bring peace and non-violence in the world. He died at the age of 76 in the year 1955. Now, let's discuss NCERT questions and answers which are really important for final examinations and even half-yearly too. Question number 1. What did Einstein call his desk drawer at the patent office? Why? He called his desk drawer at the patent office the Bureau of Theoretical Physics because he stored his secret papers on ideas on physics there. So he called his desk drawer a patent office because he was utilizing the time secretly to developing his ideas on physics there. Number 2, why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt? Answer is, Franklin feared that the Germans under the rule of Nazis developed the atomic bomb and could misuse it. He wrote to the President of the USA to warn him of this development. So Einstein feared that Germans under the rule of the Nazis had developed the atomic bomb. And he was knowing that definitely they could misuse it. And that's why he wrote a letter to the President of the USA to warn him of this development, to warn him not to use this atomic bomb for the destruction of the world. Next question. How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Einstein was deeply shaken by the disaster caused in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He wrote a public missive to the United Nations demanding the formation of world government to stop the development of nuclear weapons. So, throwing atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that was deeply grieved to Einstein, and he wrote a public missive to the United Nations, and he demanded that there should be a formation of a new government that is called a world government to stop the development of nuclear weapons. Next question. Why does the world remember Einstein as a world citizen? Answer is, Einstein was a world citizen because of his efforts for world peace and non-violence. Question number 8. Why did Einstein write a letter to Franklin Roosevelt? Or why did Einstein write a letter to the American President Roosevelt? Answer of this question is, Einstein wrote a letter to Franklin Roosevelt when the Nazis were in Germany, because the power was in the hand of Hitler and he had to migrate from there. The discovery of nuclear fission in Germany made the American physicists upset that the Nazi could use an atom bomb. So the fascist people were there living in Germany. They moved away from their place because they had fear that definitely Nazi could use this nuclear and make an atom bomb, and that could use on them. And that's why the fascist people were there. They moved away from that place. What is Einstein's special theory of relativity? According to Einstein's special theory of relativity, time and distance are not absolute, are not same. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E stands for energy is equal to mass and speed square. So this is the formula which Albert Einstein used it. He himself said that when two clocks are put together and shows the same time, but the clock does not run or does not show the exact time. That was his theory of relativity. Question number 7. Why did Einstein's playmates call him brother boring? Answer is, Einstein could not mix up with other children. He was something different. He was really an odd child. He was not mixing and joining with other students, other children even. He did not find their games interesting. He often uttered every word twice. He was often teased for his abnormally huge head. And that's why he was not matched with other children. And so his friends nicknamed him Brother Boring. Next question is, what did Einstein call his desk drawer at the patent office and why? Answer of this question is, Einstein called his desk drawer at the patent office the Bureau of Theoretical Physics because he was working as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern, where he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions. So whosoever people, scientists come over there and they were giving their inventions over there, and Albert Einstein had to assess all the people's inventions over there, but he was secretly working on his ideas to develop even his ideas and his thinking power also. Question number 10. How did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Einstein was shocked at the extent of destruction caused by the bombing. He wrote a long letter to the United Nations and suggested that there should be a world government. So question is, how did Einstein react to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Definitely, the US used the atom bomb and threw that atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But what was the reaction of Albert Einstein? Einstein was shocked at the destruction caused by this bombing. He wrote a long letter to the United Nations, the President, Franklin Roosevelt, and suggested that there should be a world government, and we can call it as UN, United Nations. Long answer question. Einstein was an abnormal, an unusual child with no indication of his potential greatness. Comment. Answer of this question is, Albert's head was larger than the usual head. He was called Brother Boring because he never mixed up with his classmates. He left school because He was not happy with the strict regimentation. He loved mechanical toys and thought his sister to be a toy. The headmaster taught him to be stupid and good for nothing, and that he would never succeed in life. He also told Einstein's father that whatever profession he chose would not matter because he will never make a success at anything. This proves that Einstein was an unusual child with no indication of his potential greatness. Question number 2. What was the outcome of Einstein's letter which he wrote to the American President Roosevelt? Did he warning have any impact on America? Answer of this question is, on his colleagues' insistence, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Roosevelt when the Nazis were in Germany and had to migrate from there. The discovery of nuclear fission in Germany made the American physicists upset that the Nazi could use the bomb. He warned him of the consequence of the atomic bomb. His words that had a great impact. The Americans developed the atomic bomb secretly. They dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Einstein was greatly shocked and moved by the destruction of these two big cities of Japan. He wrote a long letter to the United Nations and suggested that there should be a world government. This definitely helped ending the World War. So here we are ending our explanation, mind map, NCERT question answers for examinations. I hope you like my video. Please don't forget to subscribe it. Click on like button, share with your friends and give n number of comments. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.